Geez, why the heck is everybody so mad at Autism Speaks anyway? Keep watching to find out. Hello, my name is Rebecca Robbins, and I am the owner of Mind Shaper SLP, where we have a mission to create fruitful and fulfilling lives for autistic individuals and their families. And today I am continuing my series on I'm calling Neurodiversity 101. There's a playlist on my account that you can check out with a couple of other videos on it as well, in honor of Autism Acceptance Month. If you're watching this, it's April while I'm recording it, April 2024, and it's Autism Acceptance Month. So for this month, I am recording a series of videos that's kind of just giving you the basic foundational knowledge of neurodiversity and the neurodiversity movement and some of the viewpoints that the autistic community have that the neurodiversity movement is promoting. So today we're going to be talking about Autism Speaks. So you may or may not have heard that there's some controversy around Autism Speaks, especially in relation to the autistic community. And when I say autistic community, I mean people who are actually autistic themselves. They find this organization to be very problematic, which we are going to dive into all of those reasons today in this video. And one of the reasons, too, is that Autism Speaks is probably the most well-known autism organization, fundraising organization. It's the most well-funded. They raise the most funds. And so with great power comes great responsibility, right? All you Spider-Man fans. So there is a high level of expectation that an organization of that magnitude that is handling that much money is going to do the best they possibly can for the community or the population that they are purporting to support. And the autistic community, unfortunately, does not feel that's what Autism Speaks is doing. They're not living up to that responsibility. So let's get into the reasons why. So back in my video called Why Am I So Triggered by the Neurodiversity Movement, go check that out because I give a very brief history of autism. So for today's video, I'm just going to talk about how the history of autism, as when you watch that video, you'll see that the history of autism is rooted in ableism. And it was rooted in trying to cure autism or trying to make autistic children seem less autistic or try to shape them to become neurotypical. That was the goal. And then as the neurodiversity movement came about and we had the platform to hear more autistic voices and we were amplifying and we are amplifying autistic voices more, we now have shifted the focus away from the cure. We don't want to cure autism. Autism isn't something to be cured. It's just a different neurotype. We were shifting away from finding the cure and instead focusing on autism acceptance and inclusivity. So that in and of itself is one of the problems that the autistic community has with Autism Speaks, is that in 2005, when they were founded to raise money for research to find the cure. So that is just the tip of the iceberg, let's say, okay? The other thing is that a lot of the symbolism that Autism Speak has used, and because they are such a large, well-known organization, the symbolism that they chose to use became like the symbolism for autism. The color blue, the puzzle piece, the slogan light it up blue. These are all things. Well, the puzzle piece wasn't started by Autism Speaks, but it was their logo. They had a blue puzzle piece. So the color blue representing autism came from Autism Speaks. And they promoted the symbolism of the puzzle piece. And they started Light It Up Blue in honor of World Autism Awareness Day back in 2010 as an initiative to increase autism awareness. So all of those things became widely known and widely used in society and the autism field at large, the autism community at large. However, these things are problematic. So the color blue isn't necessarily in and of itself problematic, but its association with Autism Speaks has become problematic. And so the neurodiversity movement uses red, and I believe their slogan is choose red instead, as opposed to light it up blue. They promote people using red as the color for neurodiversity and autism acceptance. And then the puzzle piece comes with a whole slew of controversy and problematic innuendos. So the puzzle piece was chosen as the symbol for autism because it was like saying that autism was a puzzle that needed to be solved, and the missing piece of the puzzle was the cure. So by using this symbol, we are basically saying that autistic people have a missing piece, that they're not whole, they're not complete, and that's extremely dehumanizing. It completely devalues a person's worth if you are saying, like, here's the puzzle piece that represents the missing piece of you. And how can someone really have a complete self-worth when society is basically telling them they're a puzzle that needs to be solved and they have a missing piece? So that is why the puzzle piece is problematic. And, you know, I've said this in all of my neurodiversity 101 videos that when we know better, we do better. I am not immune to this. I am not above this. I myself thought the puzzle piece was the symbol for autism, and I used to use it. And I actually, when I first started Mind Shaper SLP, I had a puzzle piece in my logo. However, I have since rebranded now that I understand how problematic that symbol is for autism, to represent the autism community, and how offensive the autistic community finds it to be. And I choose to do my work to listen to autistic voices. So if you've used the puzzle piece, this is me saying, don't beat yourself up. It's okay. Odds are you probably didn't know the rationale behind it or why it was problematic. And you were just using the puzzle piece because you truly wanted to support the individual with autism that you loved in your life. So don't beat yourself up. But now we know better. And the neurodiversity movement uses the rainbow infinity symbol that Judy Singer had created. And she is the woman who founded the neurodiversity movement. So they, like I said at the beginning of this video, they are one of the biggest funded organizations for autism awareness, autism research. However, only 1% of the money they collect actually goes towards their family service grants, which that is a program that actually provides money to families who need the support now or the access to resources now. And then the rest goes towards other initiatives like research, fundraising, staff salaries, and apparently they have the highest executive salaries in the industry, with some of them exceeding over $600,000. And these are all statistics that I got from autistic-advocacy.org. They had created a flyer about Autism Speaks in 2020. So I'll put the link to that below so that you can check that resource out by autistic-advocacy.org for yourself. And the other thing is they raise the most money, but they're not using that money in a way to create systemic change. So while in the early days of Autism Speaks, they were really raising money for research to find a cure. Now, I think that they are claiming that they are really focusing their money raising efforts and their research towards early intervention for autism treatment. But it still isn't what the autistic community feels is what is needed to really impact change for the people in our society living with autism. The other thing is they have only one autistic person on their board, which includes 28 people. And for the largest fundraising or awareness or advocacy, as they claim to be, organization, to only have one autistic voice on the board is really lacking. And I looked at their website, and I looked through the executive board descriptions, and there was only one person Dr. Stephen Shore, who is very well renowned, who is actually autistic on their board. So at least they have one autistic voice that they're listening to, but certainly they could do better by having more autistic voices that they're listening to. And perhaps there are other places in their organization where they have autistic voices that are able to weigh in on where this money should be going or what the organization is doing. But the board only consists of one autistic person, and that is very problematic to the autistic community. So basically, it all boils down to the autistic community feels that they are underrepresented in Autism Speaks and that the organization does not prioritize listening to autistic voices, and that's a problem. The other huge thing that people have, the part of the reason why Autism Speaks is sometimes called a hate organization by the autistic community is because of some of their early marketing campaigns that they did in the early 2000s when they were first being founded. And I'm going to show you a snippet of that commercial, and so that you can hear for yourself what exactly this commercial sounded like. And I don't think there's going to be any question in your mind why people are upset about it. So let's just take a look at it. So here we go. This is the Autism Speaks commercial that people have a huge issue with. It's right off the bat, we hear this ominous music.
I'm visible in your children, but if I can help it, I am invisible to you until it's too late.
So that right there, until it's too late, that is fear mongering. It also is making it seem like to parents that now that you know that your child has autism, it's a hopeless situation because you realized it too late, which is an awful position to put parents in. And it is contributing to the negative stigma that people have in our society about autism. Let's keep watching.
I know where you live. And guess what? I live there too. I hover around all of you. I know no color barrier, no religion, no morality, no currency. I speak your language fluently, and with every voice I take away, I acquire yet another language. I work very quickly. I work faster than pediatric AIDS, cancer, and diabetes combined. And if you are...
So they just compared autism to 3 fatal diseases. Autism is not a fatal disease. Why are they comparing autism to pediatric AIDS, cancer? They are comparing autism to cancer in this video, and diabetes. It's atrocious.
Happily married, I will make sure that your marriage fails.
Okay. Another way that they're using fear mongering, they're saying we're going to make sure your marriage fails, because they are harping on the statistics that there are some statistics that there's a higher rate of divorce in families that have autistic children. And so they're harping on these people's pain points, which is a marketing strategy. That is a main marketing strategy that companies use, is they find the pain point of their ideal client, their ideal customer, and they use their words and their pain points in their marketing to hook the interest of the people that they want to engage with. And this is a really nasty way of using it, which is inducing shame and fear.
Your money will fall into my hands, and I will bankrupt you for my own self-gain.
Now you're going to get divorced. You're going to lose all your money. It's no wonder that there is a negative stigma about autism in our society when this is the type of marketing that was being put out. And this is why the autistic community thinks Autism Speaks is a hate organization.
I don't sleep, so I make sure you don't either. I will make it virtually impossible for your family to easily attend a temple, a birthday party, a public park, without a struggle, without embarrassment, without pain.
So I'm going to stop there. I think you get the point. This is a horrible commercial that is really triggering and really taking advantage of people's vulnerabilities and making it seem that autism is going to ruin your life. Imagine being an autistic person and watching that commercial. What would that do to your self-esteem? We're reading a book right now in my book club called Different Not Less, and we just finished reading about her when she received her diagnosis, and she was 13 years old, by Chloe Hayden. And she talks about going on the internet and doing Google searches about Asperger's syndrome and feeling just utterly horrified because of all of the things that she found that basically said very similar things to this commercial, that autism is going to ruin your life. And she felt like it really had a negative impact on her self-esteem. And so this is why I think it's pretty self-explanatory that this is why the autistic community has such an issue with Autism Speaks. The fact that they could put out this type of propaganda and marketing against the population of people that they are purporting to serve and to raise money for, to support. Now, I will say the second half of the commercial is it shows families and saying, like, I am a mother, I am a father, I'm a sister, I'm a brother, like, we'll stand up, we'll stand by you, we won't give up. So I think that their silver lining was that, like, the families are never going to give up on their autistic children, but the way that they went about this was all kinds of wrong, all kinds of wrong. And this is really the one of the biggest reasons that the autistic community has a problem with Autism Speaks, and why you might want to reconsider. I highly suggest reconsider who you are sending money to, or who you are raising money for, and also the type of symbols that you choose to use or colors you choose to wear when you are representing autism acceptance or autism awareness in your own life. So, like I already said, instead of using the puzzle piece, you can use the rainbow infinity symbol instead. Instead of using blue on Autism Acceptance Day, World Autism Acceptance Day, which is already passed for this year, but there's years to come, you can choose red instead and wear red. And instead of donating to Autism Speaks, which hasn't really shown a track record of really putting this money to use in a way that's really impacting change in the lives of autistic people and the families that have autistic individuals in them, choose to donate to an organization led by autistic people. They are out there of autistic-led organizations that you could choose to contribute to instead is the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, or Neuroclastic, or Communication First. And I'm going to go ahead and put the links to those organizations below so you can check them out for yourselves. So there you go. That is the 411. Oh man, I'm dating myself by saying the 411, aren't I? That's me spilling the tea. There we go. And that even might be like past its like limelight at this point. Anyway, that's the rundown on why the autistic community has such an issue with Autism Speaks, and why you might want to reconsider some of the things associated with Autism Speaks as well, and support autistic-led organizations instead. So be sure to like this video, comment below, what did you learn? What are you going to change as a result of watching this video? And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It goes a really long way to helping me grow and help my content be heard by more people and more families, and so we can spread the word about autism acceptance. All right, thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. Bye.